and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me. And welcome to September. Happy new month, happy Sunday, happy all the happiness that you are already enjoying wherever you are. Read the caption of this broadcast and read beyond that. Read the description of this broadcast in detail, you know. Like it. Share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell all of them that Mayegun today. Something terrible happened yesterday. It is not the first time. In fact, it is not the 10,000th time. But this one happened yesterday. It is fresh. Remember Bello Turji? The one that Nigerian army has claimed to have killed 4 times. He's not dead, of course, I know. He struck yesterday, a deadly one. We believe that the Nigerian army were ambushed by Turji's terror gang and terror group. Others feels like, nah. Mayegun, this is not an ambush. This is like ammunition exchange, weapon exchange. Come on, wake up. I'm like, really? So like I said, read all the description of the broadcast, okay? So that you can bring yourself in tune to what we will be talking about this evening, this moment. Share it. Thank you. Motide. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you. From wherever you are tuning in to join Mayegun this hour. It is Mayegun Live. Yesterday in Sokoto, where the news of an ambush against the Nigerian army, Nigerian soldiers who were traveling in convoy of APC, that is, Armored Personnel Carriers. They were ambushed, but we didn't know, we didn't know about it until the terrorists themselves uploaded the evidence. We couldn't see the bodies of the Nigerian soldiers killed. We practically saw the destroyed armor tank and the one they hijacked. Why would the Fulani terrorist hijack a government armored personnel carrier? Like, it's not a car. It's not a car that you can drive about anywhere. Well, these are possibly this and others will likely be the questions that will be running through your head if you are trying to figure out what exactly is going on in that contraption. But don't worry, you do not have to subject yourself to that kind of a torture. I'll help you a little bit to understand why you are dealing with the worst set of criminals to ever be in charge of a country or any administration, any government at all in your history. And this is the evidence. Bello Turji, among many other politically sponsored terrorists from northern Nigeria, those they indeed mobilized to destabilize Nigeria in 2015 if Goodluck Ebele Jonathan failed to hand over to them. So they didn't have any plan, any plan B for these terrorists that, listen, what are we going to do if Jonathan gave us the power? What are we going to do with these people? They had no plan. So until later, when they started their killing, kidnapping you, they decided to kind of legalize them. Almost though, where Bello Turji's first time of appearance was sometimes in 2021. This was when Matawale, which is a Patawale of Zamfara, was their governor. Let me give you the background story of it. It's important so that we don't just jump into what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday is just a series of what has been happening and what is still expected to happen. But this particular individual, Bello Turji, appeared in the Zamfara State Government House sometimes in 2021. And he was the guest of the state governor and the state government, where they offered him an amnesty. And why was that? Before APC, Egbekegbe came, it was the Boko Haram, which we knew then that they were actually the gang of terrorists put together to pursue power. And they got it. But what about the Fulani terrorists? They just emerged, almost from nowhere, armed to the teeth, under the supposed change government that was coming to end terrorism. Rather than them to end the terrorism, but they started forcing it on everybody to accept the terrorism and the terrorists. So these guys were kidnapping, collecting ransoms, ransacking villages, destroying farms. And all of this they did in straight 6 years. That Boko Haram was trying to force Ruga down our throats. And what was Ruga? It was for us in the southern part of Nigeria to part with hundreds of thousands of hectares of land to be allocated to this murderous terrorist. While that was going on, that was when Turji appeared on the scene, straight at the government house in Zamfara. And he told them, to the listening of, or should we say to the admiration of those who were there, Turji said nobody could arrest him. That he willingly and voluntarily came out today to attend this peace meeting, amnesty deal. There were members of Boko Haram's government in Zamfara that day. Members of the Patawale's government, entirety of them, they were there inside the government house in Zamfara. Now, let us cut it short. They said it was, they said kinetic and non-kinetic. So the kinetic one is when the soldiers comes and they just go after the terrorists and just slaughter them. Non-kinetic is when you try to negotiate with the terrorists. So the northern criminals, they made an impression that they will speak to these terrorists under Boko Haram. Then they came up with an idea that Turji and his gang, for example, they've repented from terrorism. Guess how much that costs Zamfara State in trying to make Turji and his gang comfortable? True story. 970 million naira, nearly $1 billion naira, was expended in rehabilitating Turji and his gang because they have embraced Patawale's amnesty. But it was a ruse. The whole Fulani terrorism in northern Nigeria, you see, the whole Fulani terrorism in Nigeria is in 2 ways. And both are sponsored and funded by these Fulani terrorists and jihadists in governments in Nigeria, in government houses in northern Nigeria. 2, you have the Fulani terrorists and Boko Haram, ISWAP, and the rest of them, especially Fulani terrorists, right, who are chasing people out of their ancestral lands in northern Nigeria because of the resources found in their area that must not be declared to Nigeria. It must be cornered by the first politician that discovered them. To keep them and keep people away from them, you need armed terrorists. So how about you legalize the terrorists and say you've given them amnesty? Because they swore by the Holy Quran never to be terrorists again. Guess what? But direct them in a way that you can say that area, we are extracting so dear. So we want you to make sure that people are chased away, nobody comes there. And we will make sure that the military or the police, nobody will disturb you. Don't worry, go ahead. This was what they did. The one before Patawale in Zamfara, Yari is a senator. It would have become your Senate president, like Akpabiole. He is also, a terrorist sponsor from Zamfara. What are they sponsoring? They are sponsoring terrorism against their people to cover the illegal mining of precious resources in their different states, especially in Zamfara. And I'm not making this up because when they said their relationship broke when Patawale accused Bello Turji of serving more than one master. After all he did for him, that is a Patawale. After all I did for you, Turji harmed him, ensure that he's probably protected and covered for so long in the name of amnesty. It was the same Patawale who now came out and said, Bello Turji is a terrorist. He has broken his amnesty deal. Bello Turji now came and said, no, they listen to that video. He is a terror funder, he's a terror. And he's so surprised that Tifnumbu last year, Tifnumbu made him the Minister of Defense. You see, you make terrorist and terror sponsor in charge of defense of Nigeria. So Patawale became a minister. It was Bello Turji, he was one of those people who came out as, in a video where he actually mentioned the terrorist that Patawale is now using for his own illegal mining in Zamfara. Politicians were supposed to keep you safe, man. They are arming terrorists to kill your children. Then they are also milking the country in the name of funding defense budgets, which they are also looting. About Nigeria, the born man. Now terrorists alerted us that your Minister of Defense, that is looking for him since he was governor. Now he's the minister. He's telling everybody he's not looking for him. He only wants to kill him because Bello Turji is a problem to Patawale, Yari, and few of them's illegal mining and smuggling across the northwest of Nigeria. He said it. Listen.
Da wanda da shugaba da talaka duk ya kai kunnen kowa sako ne zan ba ku 'yan Najeriya saboda haka matsalar tsaro da muke fama da ita ina mai tabbatar muku wannan abun gwamnati ta so kuma ita ta tsarmi mata ta'addanci gindi mi a hujja ta mi dalili gwamnatin Zamfara wadda ta kau ta gwamna excellency Matawallan Maradun duk wanda aka faɗi haka ya san kowa an Matawallan Maradun. A saboda haka abin da ya samu ka zargin sun ɗarme mata'addanci gindi yanzu a dubi akwai wasu mutane duk wani ɗan ƙaramar hukumar mulkin shinkafi da zurmi da isa bai isa ya ƙaryata wannan bidiyon ba kuma bai isa ya ƙaryata mu ba. Akwai wasu mutane duk wani wanda ko da ɗan Najeriya shi wanda a can kama kana Bauchi baka san matsala ba kana Kaduna baka san matsalar Zamfara ba. To muna tabbatar ma da gwamnatin tarayya ita in bata sani ba. Akwai mutane zan ba da shaida da hujja da dalili da takamaiman magana wadda duk mai hankali ya je ya karanta ko kuma ya je ya binciki tarihin waɗannan mutane. Kuma inga aka je aka yi magana da su a ba mu wannan wuri ko a ba mu mina ne ko a ce muna mina ne to mu mun fito shi matsayina na ɗan ƙasa ga na fito tsakanina da Allah na gai gaskiya. Gwamnatin Zamfara da ta gabata ta Matawalle ita ta tarbe makarya ge. An yi sulhu na farko da ita to abinda asa sulhun ta ki zamnawa kowa ya sani ni na sani duk al'ummar da jihar Zamfara shinkafi da zurmi da isa sun san da wannan matsalar. Akwai wani mutum ana ce mashi marigayi dudu ni fatattake su don su hana shinkafa ta zamna lahiya. Suna da bindiga sama da bindiga 200, Matawalle ya ɗauke su ya kai su gidan gwamnati. In ƙarya ne suna gidan gwamnati har yanzu, in gobe in ƙan gaskiya ne suna gidan gwamnati har yanzu. Da muka kashe Dullu, Kabiru Maniya, a faɗa mana inga gwamnatin Zamfara ko ta Sokoto ko ta tarayya ta je ta yi sulhu da shi ya bada makaman shi, a gaya mana wurin. To tun da babu wurin ko Bashari Maniya, a gaya mana inga ya bada bindigogin shi ga gwamnati. A fito a faɗi wagga magana ina sun ka bada su. Kowa ya san suna da bindiga sama da 100.
Don't worry, okay? Even me self, I know to understand within in talk until I got it got interpreted for me. So I'll tell you, my subtitle. It was a long video, but it was there practically saying that person who is funding another group of terrorists, that Patawale want to use. They said they've made Patawale minister. Tinubu make Patawale minister, and Patawale is using the instrument of Nigeria to chase him so that he can kill him and the areas like Kaduna, Sokoto, and all these places to his own preferred terrorist called Kabiru. Now, Patawale will fail, he said, that he's been trying to kill him for so long, and he has been failing, that he doesn't even understand how Tinubu will appoint somebody who has his own different illegal mining spaces across Zamfara. That it is obvious that even people in Zamfara knows that same person is calling him a terrorist, want to kill him by using the army, by using this or that, making you believe that he's coming to come and end the terrorists. No, he's not coming after the terrorists. He's coming after his supposed former partner that they are not friends anymore, who is now disturbing his business, even though he's a minister. So when people tell you that some people are wishing Tinubu to fail, people who say, we know that, Nigeria will be great. We know that some of you are enemy of Nigeria. You are just happy about every bad news about Nigeria. That is why you are always happy. God will make Tinubu succeed. Olori Buruku niye, with no apology. There is nobody who wanted Tinubu to fail than Tinubu himself. They are surrounded. He is a criminal. Number one, like Akokono, is a failure of himself, right? A drug dealer, certificate forger, who is your president. His vice is a terrorist sympathizer. The man that kept Kabiru Sokoto inside the Borno State government guest house, governor's guest house in Abuja. When Nigerian DSS declared him wanted, he was there living large inside the governor's guest house, Borno State governor's guest house in Abuja. For 7 months, he was being looked for. They were looking for him. He was driving in the convoy of Shitty Man, who is your vice president today. Now, these are the two figures there. Then they now surrounded themselves with kleptomaniacs, other criminals, treasury looters, and terrorist funders who are using the instrument of state to hunt down those they call the enemy of their enemy, their political enemy. And they allow the terrorists to roam. Yeah? Nobody wants them to fail that themselves, but it depends on what you probably will call failure. Because sometimes what you think is failure is what these guys are giving themselves awards for. Remember? Yeah. The best governor, 2022, dubious Dapo of Ogun State. The best workers-friendly governor, the best investor governor in that same shit hole. They are celebrating the failure. Economy, boom, in the gutters. Insecurity everywhere. Hunger, at least, caused by what? The same terrorists who are destroying. Insecurity destroying everywhere, right? Corruption and all that, right? But they think they are doing fine. Now they complain. And you are complaining because you are enemy of Nigeria. DSS should invite you. This is how our voluntary slaves in Nigeria, this is how they speak. That's how they address me. You, this my DSS should invite you. How could you say that, Mayegu? DSS should invite you. And that's exactly what they do. The DSS, they don't look for terrorists. No. They look for people like me who get big mouth that must be taught a lesson. They must teach this boy a lesson. They must teach him a lesson. And the likes of Turji, they are as free as birds. Here is what happened yesterday. Fast forward now to yesterday. When was it not the same yesterday? You had this clip on this platform where this Nigerian army spokesperson was talking about how they will unleash the massive presence of Nigerian army on you if they suspect that you are a terrorist. Abi? All lies. Some people are still not convinced that this was an ambush, by the way. I want you to judge it. This is about 4 minutes clip watch, okay? Pray for me that YouTube won't come around and say, you need to delete this video. At least you will be the one, you would have seen it at least, eh? And the message would have also been passed. Ladies and gentlemen, Turji and his gang in Sokoto State yesterday did this to Nigerian army.
sunana Muhammadu Bello Turji a arewa maso yamma insha Allah muna gode cikin fatin galiba ma insha Allah sunana Muhammadu na wannan muna makaraka a yankin kasar Bello Turji ya shiga kabila guda biyu ga su wajen Najeriya ku sani Bello Turji na zuwa kanku insha Allah in dai ba ku zo zauna lahiya ba muna gaya maku da ku da malamanku kalilatin fatin galibatin ma sabirina insha Allah muna tare da Allah muna tare da Allah ka bi hadura kunna masu wuta ku eba muna hatu tabuba ka kuma na ku eba muna kaya ka kuma na ku eba muna ka ku koma nan ne ku tsaye والجهاد كن كرود وبعدك أرياتا تاكاري من قراشي الله أكبر والجهاد بإذن الله تعالى الله أكبر بإذن الله don Allah ko haza mai wuta sha bakwai ko haza mai wuta ku ta maku bidiyo ga kunkuru nan na ci da wuta jama'a an ci nazara salbin kai Allahu akbar wal jihad عزة لله الله أكبر الله أكبر عزة لله والجهاد
Ma save my punishment in case if somebody in YouTube gets a little bit triggered. Oh no, you shouldn't show that. So you've seen that, right? I'll show you ones without fire very soon. So it was said to be an ambush. Okay. I didn't see any. Did you see anybody? I didn't see anybody. So that was why some people believe that. No, I don't think it's an ambush. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm just telling you what people are kind of feeling like. This doesn't look like. These guys are so armed that they have weapons that is called this surface to earth rocket launcher, where they can use RPG to shoot down a plane or anything. And most of these weapons, they were either looted from the Nigerian armory or taken from the Nigerian army on their like ambush like that. Or they are practically supplied by their gun runner, I think. But imagine Nigeria spending trillions of naira buying weapons that are just there for terrorists to come take. And they've got, whenever you want to have protest, you are going to see Nigerian army with all of their